brothers. Welcome to Growth Group this week. I hope you have a great night reflecting on the grace of God towards you. Just to remind you of what we looked at in Church Online last week, in my sermon I had 3 main points. The first had to do with sin, understanding the depth of our sin, not by narrowly defining it or comparing ourselves with others or misdefining God, but by seeing what the Bible says about sin being an attitude of our hearts. The second point I made was grace. That Paul says in Romans that God presented Jesus as a sacrifice of atonement, the shedding of his blood to pay for our sin. And the third point I made was about boasting, that when we understand that we are saved by grace, we don't boast about ourselves, we boast about Jesus. And just to refresh your memory, I tied it together with the story of when I made a scratch on that guy's car as a P-plater, and he very kindly let me off. Let me get you started with a question. Discuss this among yourselves. What sense of sin do you have in your own life, and how is that tied to your understanding of how big or small it is that Jesus has done for you? And I guess a follow-up question, how can you sharpen your sense of both the reality of sin and the magnitude of Jesus' grace? Have a great night in Growth Group.